Hello, and welcome to this week's weekly reading. It'll only be arriving via Instagram post on a Tuesday, but you should find it up on the YouTube hopefully by Monday. And if you're hearing this, you're seeing the reading anyway, so it doesn't much matter. And this week is very highlighted by the Taurus, and that being also the final Taurus lunar eclipse, which is happening on Saturday. But also opposite Taurus is the sign of Scorpio, and this week the Sun and Mercury both move into Scorpio, so the energy is becoming very scorpionic. And within that deep dive of Scorpio, where we really dare to dive deep into the deep feelings and be quite forensic, we have the counter side where Taurus wants to stop and smell the roses and enjoy the simple pleasures. Taurus is very much about being embodied, and Scorpio is very much about purging and allowing things to die away that no longer serve. So I've brought in some rosemary for remembrance, because we do have to tap deep into ourselves and deep into our history to see what it is that we need to change around story-wise. Isn't that catching the light so beautifully, this gorgeous piece of kyanite? And some grapefruit, which is going to lift and lighten, but also grapefruit is a bitter fruit. So it's giving us that opportunity to go into some of the bitter places in order to find more sweetness and brightness in life. So remember to choose a number between 1 and 4. This is a joint reading, so a collective reading, so it's not personalized, but if you also choose a number, then you get a little bit more of a personal theme or message for the week. And I also have drawn a extra card just to give us a guided, kind of like a guided theme thing to focus on, which I drew first, and then when I drew the other cards, it just is perfect for us. So let's jump in. Have you got your number? Here's the big picture reading, and here is our extra card, Blessed. It's a magical number, master number 22, and it is such a beautiful reminder. And I love that she's in this beautiful shell, because it's also water signs tend to have exoskeletons, Scorpio included, and it connects us to the dog, sorry. Okay, let's hope she keeps quiet. It is doubtful. Okay, so Blessed is just the perfect card for us as a reminder for this week, especially when we look at the rest. Oh, she slipped out. Okay, so yes, Scorpio energy is showing up already in the frustrations, and even Taurus doesn't like overloads of the sensory, negative sensory experience, and my noisy dog is giving me that right now. Okay, so this is a very beautiful theme for us to remember and just to tap into. We'll come back to it when we've looked at the cards. So here we've got 2 air cards, a 7 of Swords and an 8 of Swords, also very consecutive in their work. We've got a 6, so we could say 6, 7, 8, and we've got a Page of Pentacles. So only 2 suits we're working with. We're working with the air, Swords, and we're working with the earth, Pentacles. And of course, this is an earth eclipse in the sign of Taurus, but you can see that both the Pentacles cards are upside down, where both the Swords cards are right way up. Swords cards can be quite angsty, it's where we get stuck in our head and we go round and round our anxiety stuff, our stress stuff, our fears, the narrative, round and round and round and round we go. And so these being upright is really telling us that there is a lot internally that we are thinking through and trying to release. So the previous eclipse, which was in the sign of Libra on the South Node, was very much about what we needed to release in relationships. And here we are a couple of weeks later, coming towards being a couple of weeks later. It's only later in this week, where we've been processing a lot of that stuff. And now we get to a North Node eclipse in Taurus, which is now, well, how do I do something about that? And what's nice about the sign of Taurus is being an earth sign, it's very practical and definitely wants to have a solution to that exact question. How do I do something about it? But of course, that would have required a lot of ruminating and chewing the cud from that Libra. What needs to go in my relationships? What needs to change? Libra is an air sign. So the previous eclipse was in air, Swords. The current eclipse, upcoming eclipse, is in earth, Taurus. And here we are with this reading fully embodying those things. I guess we might say that because the Swords cards are the right way up, maybe we have been doing the work. The Seven of Swords seems to be coming up quite a lot lately. I love that it even has a full moon in the top there. And this is a card that does often talk to deception. And Scorpio can be an energy that is quite rife with deception or mistrust. And Scorpio is much more than that. I feel like Scorpio often gets a bad rap, and I don't want to pile on to that, but the negative traits, the shadow traits are there nonetheless. In this card, he has actually tried to find a peaceful resolution, but by just maybe in this particular rendition, harvesting feathers that have already fallen, but they weren't his to take nonetheless. He should have gotten permission. So it's a little bit suspicious. And it's also sus that he's gone there in the dead of night with his hoodie on. He doesn't exactly look like he's showing up in broad daylight. However, there's a full moon shining, which means that he is seen. And you can see that the ravens are calling, like they are not happy about the way that this has gone down. So where is it in your life where you are either being a little bit deceptive, even if it's for the right reasons, and also where in your life are you feeling that you are being deceived? And of course, this is probably something, as we just spoke about, that's been running around your head. So you may very much look at certain relationships where you, to keep the peace, you deceive the other, or that happens to you, or where you feel like that person doesn't tell you the full story because they know that you are going to be really angry. And again, then that's not going to be peaceful. So it's kind of like conning ourselves that we're doing that for the right reasons, but actually in the end, it is deceptive. Then the Six of Pentacles is very much about reciprocity and the balance and even flow of giving and receiving of energy, of money, of time, of all those things, which in a balanced relationship is exactly what you have. You have, I give to you, you give to me. When I need, you can give. When you need, I can give. I will allow myself to receive from you as you allow yourself to receive from me. And obviously, in any relationship, there are times when somebody is needing to give more or take more, and that is fine as long as the overall balance is equal. Because this card is upside down, we're saying, where is it not equal? And if we add that to the Seven of Swords, where am I deceiving myself? That this is a fair and reciprocal relationship. And remember, these relationships, everyone is in relationship with everyone that we know. So it's not just romantic relationships. However, obviously those are very primary relationships that are easy to focus on, but also colleagues, friends, parents, children, and even our relationship to maybe a business. If you have your own business, you can have a relationship to your business, or a relationship to a body. Like if you're studying, the relationship you have to your school, your university, your course, whatever it is. So you can really open this out depending on your situation and say, well, if I'm being honest with myself, what are the primary relationships? Are you married to your work? Because then that might be your primary relationship. Ooh, nearly didn't get that one out. Okay, so the Six is telling us something is out. And then with the Seven of Swords, with that sort of like something deceptive, it's like, am I deceiving myself, or is another deceiving me, that they're giving as much as they're receiving, or vice versa? So something is not working. And here we are in this earth illuminating full moon that is also an eclipse, partial eclipse. So something's going to be eclipsing the light of the moon, and therefore, and it's the earth, to be honest with you, the earth will be eclipsing the light of the moon. So it's almost easier to hide, and yet we need to dig deeper, Scorpio, and see what lies beneath the surface. And Page of Pentacles, especially in this deck, in its upside down form, really has the form of the Hanged Man, which is all about surrendering, trusting, letting go. Now, normally we don't really feel that kind of energy in Earth. Earth is more stabilizing and grounding, whereas water is more release, surrender, let go. And of course, Scorpio is a sign of water. So it's almost like Scorpio's come to flush the pipes, flush the chain. Scorpio rules the rectum. It's what we're meant to release. So here it is going, okay, I know you want to build a strong foundation, but you're not going to build that if you don't flush out what is deceptive, what is not balanced. And that Six of Pentacles is also a nice link to the sort of feeling of balance and reciprocity that you get in the Libra energy, which is our last moon. And here it's saying, if you're not able to ground that fairness and that balance, then it's never going to be a balanced thing. The foundations upon which you build this relationship or this narrative of your life are not stable, and so you will get knocked over inevitably. We're not sure when, but that will happen if we don't build the foundations. So it feels like the call to truth here is really important, and it's interesting because Scorpio is a sign that demands truth, but equally is quite secretive in itself. So if you are a Scorpio, you are probably adamant about getting to the bottom of things and knowing all the details of things, but you may not want to share that from your own stuff. And here again, is that fair or is that deceptive? Is that reciprocal or not? So if you hold strong Scorpio, you might also find that you're really good at getting to the bottom of things, but you're not really good at walking your own talk that way and being as open as you expect the other to be. And that's obviously not just for Scorpios, but working with the archetype that we're dealing with now, it comes in. Plus with Mercury there, Mercury is the narrative, Mercury is air. And our thinking. So we come to the Eight of Swords where it's like, let's get real. You are not bound. You are not blindfolded. You have choices. You have options. Stop feeling so stuck in a pattern, stuck in the past, stuck in a rut, and recognize that there is so much more that you can do to change your circumstances and situations right now. But that requires doing. And at the moment, the doing is very in-depth thinking changes and pattern changes, and it's like your neurological patterning. We develop a pattern of walking from when we're one, and then our body just does that thing because we've developed those neural pathways. We do that in other such patterns as well, and this is really a time where we're trying to figure out how to change these patterns, and it's easy to say and it's not that easy to do. So I think our focuses right now really need to be on what am I deceiving myself about? Where am I being deceived? And where am I deceiving? And where is it not fair and not balanced? And where am I clinging to something that isn't actually working, where I should actually be surrendering? And it's time to change my story and see that I have choices and options far more than I thought. And that brings us right back to Blessed, which, as you can now see, is such a perfect card to remind us of all that we do have, to remind us of all that we have traversed, and the promise of the future that we are creating for ourselves in the present moment. And just, if in doubt, because it's pretty hard right now. Let's not kid ourselves. It's pretty hard right now. But if in doubt, lean into gratitude practices, lean into recognizing that you are blessed, that we are all blessed, and focus there when it all feels too dark and too intense. I hope that has been helpful. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful eclipse of many insights and breakthroughs. And also, if you're looking for a personal reading and a little extra personal support, please check out the link below and get in touch. I would love to be a guide from the side of your journey while you are sage on your stage. Thanks for watching.